a spectacular video game of 2013 came earlier in the year. In fact, came over the summer. Summer is a time when we're not used to getting any video games, let alone really, really generationally good ones. The Last of Us on PlayStation 3, June of 2013.
Sort of an incredible footnote for the PlayStation 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
PlayStation 4 announced it, yeah. PlayStation 4 announced in February, Last of Us coming out, and I think it was June.
Yes.
So the expectation was, okay, this is Naughty Dog, it's going to be fantastic, but that PlayStation 4 is coming. And this, like Grand Theft Auto, made you think, like, how do video games get better than this? Like, what are they going to do with these new machines that's better than this?
It won IGN's Game of the Year for 2013, narrowly edging Grand Theft Auto 5. I voted for GTA, but I don't begrudge The Last of Us winning. That's how good that game was, and that's how close the race was here in our voting.
Well, they're two completely different game theories. GTA 5 is one of the best expressions of open world gaming ever, but The Last of Us placed you in an extremely narrow, almost linear path, and to the point that you're dramatically and emotionally involved with a long, complex story and
it spans 4 seasons.
Exactly, and these characters you get deeply attached to, but you actually. Turns out, to the point that it becomes sort of the crux that the game swings on, you don't have any power to make decisions. You're just there.
One of the best feelings for this game. I have problems with anxiety, and so it was hard for me to play The Last of Us because you are so powerless.
Yep.
And it just, the world is like coming in on you, and they convey it so well.
It's like the best Silent Hill game ever made.
Yeah. Oh, that's
it's
so good.
Weird.
I love that you said that. That's fantastic.
It's obviously so cinematic, very well written. We're still getting used to the idea that games can be well written, and this was one that really is held up as a shining example, and well acted too.
Yeah.
One of my favorite characters from The Last of Us was never on screen.
Ish?
Yeah, Ish is just in some notes.
Yes.
You get some notes, and this entire arc is just conveyed through these beautiful notes that you find in these random places, and it's just a great example of storytelling and how strong the writing can be, and the characters that they build around them too. It's not just about Joel and Ellie, it's about this entire world and how they're all suffering.
Those were great too because it was less about, like, most video games that give you notes and audio logs and stuff, right? Like, it's somebody sits down with a tape recorder and is like, well, the world's coming to an end and there's nothing I can do about it, I'm just going to sit here and die. This is the audio log. Whereas these notes were personal and about people, and they were writing the notes out specifically because it's like, well, I need to write a note. It's the only way I can get in contact with somebody, and I want to document this.
Also, special award for best giraffe in a video game ever. And
Cried
it's
like
a short list.
baby.
Yeah.
Zoo Tycoon.
Alphabet Sue, I think, had one. But in addition to that, it's also the strange realization of this very old video game idea. When CD-ROMs were first invented, people kept trying to make interactive movies, and they were almost universally terrible.
It came from the desert.
Right, that kind of thing. It came from the desert or sewer shark. Yeah. And people kept trying to do it over the years and find a way to make it work, eventually in 3D environments. The Last of Us took that old, kind of flawed, horrible idea, and they really did create an interactive movie. The difference was they said, for it to be a true interactive movie, you've got to get involved, and it's got to be a great movie. And those two things were both present and perfectly married in this game. It's a work of art. I mean, it really is. It's the kind of game that if you're interested in what makes games great and you want to study that, play this game and take notes. It's a clinic on that.
As if, because why not? Even the multiplayer,
That's right.
I mean, it's basically an extra, and it's pretty good.
I thought it would be this, tacked on, throwaway, totally forgettable, mandatory, we've got to put it in kind of thing. And it ended up being just as savage and raw and, resource intensive, and you had to think differently than you did in other shooters, and it ended up being this sort of like thinking players kind of multiplayer experience, more so than, it was less like Call of Duty, more like Counter-Strike in a post-apocalyptic setting, and it was really, really cool, really, really intense, very slow-paced, like the campaign.
And your friends got killed.
Oof, did they ever?
Yeah.
Oh.